welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a really exciting video. If you have been wanting to know more about my paleo lifestyle, my diet, what I've been doing to change up my health, this video is for you guys. So I decided to take 3 paleo recipes and share them with you guys. 2 of them are completely brand new to me, so we're testing them out in this video. And then one of them is like my favorite like winter stew sort of situation that I love, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So I know a lot of you have been asking to see more paleo content on this channel, so that is what we're doing today. I hope you guys are ready for this. Let's just get into all the yummy goodness. So starting off with our first paleo recipe, this is a paleo chili, and let me tell you, it was really good. So I will have all the ingredients listed in the description box below, and I'll just kind of talk you through the process. So the first thing I did was chop up the onions, and then I sauteed the onions and the minced garlic in my pan. And while that was happening, I decided to go ahead and chop up all the veggies. So in this chili, they have what is the stuff? Celery. They have celery, carrots, and peppers, which I thought was interesting, and also jalapenos, which I thought was pretty interesting because I normally don't have a lot of veggies in my chili. It's normally just ground beef with some spices, and then I add beans to my chili. And I just recently learned that that is not the norm. Like, people apparently don't put beans in their chili. Like, that's not chili. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below how you eat chili. Like, do you put beans in it? Or no, let me know. But this one had like a bunch of veggies, which I actually really enjoyed. It was a nice way to get more vegetables in my diet, but still have it like in chili in like a different way. So I really enjoyed that. So anyway, while everything's like cooking in the pan, I was chopping up all the vegetables, and then you add the ground beef to kind of let it do its thing in the pan with the onions and the garlic. And again, I will have the exact recipe in the description box below, but I thought it'd be fun to share with you guys like the process, and you can see everything for yourself, because I know I'm definitely a visual person. I like to have the visual. So next, I'm adding all of my spices. So I went ahead and added all the veggies to my crock pot. I'm adding all the spices on top of it, and then I mix it all up together so that way it completely covers the veggies. So that is what I'm doing here. And then once I had all of this done, I added the onions, the ground beef, and the garlic. I couldn't think, sorry. I added all that, and then I mixed all that in as well. Then I topped it with diced tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, and I actually used tomato paste. The recipe said tomato sauce, but I used tomato paste, and it actually, I really liked the way that it turned out. It made it a little bit thicker, which I liked, but if you don't want it to be that thick, maybe try using tomato sauce or like adding some water to your paste to make it more of a sauce. But that is the final product. So once I had that in the crock pot for about 6 hours, it was time to eat, and we paired it with these almond flour crackers. So it was really delicious. Moving on to my all-time favorite, like this is, I make this all the time. I kid you not, we have this at least once a week throughout the winter, and it's so good. But this is beef stew, and it is super easy. Like, the hardest part is chopping up the vegetables, honestly. So the first thing that I do is I brown all of the beef stew meat. I usually use 2 packets of it because we really like a lot of meat in our beef stew, but you could just use 1 if you don't want as much. So that's something to keep in mind. Next up, I'm chopping up the onion, and then I will follow with the carrots and potatoes, and that's pretty much all the veggies that are in this meal. I know a lot of people who do paleo don't have potatoes. I base mine off of when doing the Whole30, you're allowed to have potatoes, and honestly, when we do like rounds of Whole30, I will eat potatoes every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, and I still end up losing, I think I always end up losing at least 10 pounds when I do a Whole30. So my body doesn't have any issues with potatoes, so I don't feel the need to remove them from my diet. But if you are paleo and you don't go the potato route, then I don't know what else you could add to this. I'm sure you probably have some ideas, and I would love to hear them in the comments below, because I'm like, what do you do with beef stew if you don't have potatoes in it, but you still want to be paleo, you know? For me, I have no problem with potatoes, so I think that they're fine on paleo, but I know like some like hardcore paleo people might not like that. So if you are one of those people, definitely let me know in the comments. I would love to hear like what your replacement is for that. So once I have everything chopped up, I throw it in the crock pot along with the beef stew meat, and I top it with coconut aminos and some garlic. And then I'm going to use 2 cups of beef broth and 2 cups of tomato juice or vegetable juice. So that is what we are doing here, just adding all the juices. And I know, and then I top it with salt and pepper. And I know it's gonna look crazy because you're like, it's not mixed into everything, but trust me, as this cooks down, everything will like kind of like shrink down. That sounds weird, but everything will kind of like go all together, and then it's easier to mix everything up as the day goes on. So I put this in for 8 hours, and when it's done, it looks like that. It is so delicious and seriously one of my favorite meals. So definitely recommend trying it, and if you do, let me know in the comments below. Moving on to the last recipe, and this is hibachi chicken with like a magic mustard sauce. And let me say, this meal was definitely a 10 out of 10. James told me that it was his favorite meal that I've ever cooked, which is just so funny. And it is completely paleo, Whole30, everything like that, in case you were wondering. So first things first, James chopped up, he like cubed the chicken for me. And while he was doing that, I was actually getting everything ready for the magic mustard sauce. And so the first thing I did was mess with the ginger, like I had to grate the ginger or whatever. And so I'm doing that here. Let me tell you, that is definitely a workout. And then I'm going on to the mustard powder, and I'm mixing that with some warm water. And then I take my frother to like kind of mix it all up. Let me tell you, if you're gonna do this, have it like in a cup or something, because the bowl wasn't quite like big enough to keep it from like splattering all over the place. So then I used some fish sauce, which I actually didn't get a clip of that. And then I'm using some tahini, like ground tahini, or like tahini, I don't know, like butter or whatever it's called. I don't really know a lot about tahini, so I'm sorry. And then I'm adding in the ginger and the garlic and some coconut aminos. And once I have that all together, I'm throwing it in this like magic bullet, because I don't really have a food processor. And I'm mixing everything all together. And let me tell you guys, this stuff was really good, like really good. So anyway, once I got all that done, it was time to chop up the vegetables. So in this recipe, I am using carrots and mushrooms and zucchini. And I also showed a clip of James cooking up the chicken, because I realized I didn't show him putting that in the pan. So I actually used not soy sauce. I actually used sesame oil to cook the chicken in, when the recipe calls for avocado oil, but I didn't have any of that, and I really like sesame oil. So that's what we cooked the chicken in, but I didn't get a clip of that. And then once the chicken was done and I had all the vegetables chopped up, we put some ghee in the pan, let that melt, and then we put in the onions, zucchini, carrots, and mushrooms. I was going to use a yellow squash, so you may have seen that at the beginning of this portion of the video, this like clip of me showing everything, but I ended up not using that. I decided to use that for something else, so that's why you don't see me cutting it up, and it didn't make it into the final product, but I'm sure it would have been delicious had it made it into all the vegetable mix, but you know. So anyway, we are just throwing those in there, and I believe the recipe said to kind of let them do their thing for about 4 minutes, or until they're like a little bit tender. And then once you do that, you add back the chicken to let that cook for another 2 minutes or so, and you top it with sesame seeds. You guys, this recipe was so good. And if you are missing like having, hibachi chicken or anything like that, this is definitely a good alternative. So I took some cauliflower rice and then added that to the bottom and topped it with all the veggies and chicken and the sauce, and it was so good, you guys. It was so good. Alright guys, so that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing these recipes, hearing my feedback on them. If you try them out, let me know in the comments below your thoughts and what you liked, what you didn't like. Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you want to see more paleo recipes, paleo snack ideas, anything like that. Let me know, because I love food and I love sharing food with you guys. So let me know in the comments below. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.